It's time for bookkeeping, beer, and BS.
If somebody came to you and said, yeah, I've got a business and this and that, how do you find inefficiencies? Because, and it's pretty cool that Dan does what he does with his bookkeeping stuff, because the numbers can show you where you're inefficient sometimes, or at least, identify it on a high level, but you can't always tell why that thing is happening.
Mm-hmm.
Or is it, there's so many parts that moving parts that go into it. How do you actually put the magnifying glass and find it?
Yeah, it's different circumstances for different people, but it's really the same process, which is really understanding and asking a lot of questions and listening and understanding how they are operating and peeling back the onion, right? So when I'm coaching one-on-one, it's, my goal is that I know that they have a goal that they want to reach. And my goal is I want to get them to that goal faster if they're hiring me to coach with them one-on-one. And so it's interesting with talking to different personalities when you're coaching and to see how they answer questions, and you have to understand how to navigate their answers, and are they really giving you the answers that you need, and peeling back that onion. And sometimes it's just a lot of questions and really finding those inefficiencies, and what they think sometimes is that inefficiency is really not where we need to start. So they may say, well, I'm having a hiring issue, but can we really hire anyone right now? Because really there's an interview issue and an HR issue and a training issue before you get anyone else on board. Or maybe you can't hire anyone right now because what I've really peeled back the onion on is that maybe they're not following this CBF pay for performance system and they're not paying enough. So they're just going to continually have that turnover because they're not paying their employees enough to stay on board and have less turnover.
Yeah.
So what they think is really a hiring issue, and there's not enough people in my market that will come and work for me. That's really not what the case is. It's peeling back the onion and finding out where we need to start, and starting at the top and figuring out what they have in place to make sure that by the time that employee comes on board, that they are hearing the right message, they know what to expect, and they've got the right training and process. Because if there's a breakdown in any of that, in the interview process, if you're not communicating properly to a potential new hire about how much money they're going to make, what your cleaners make, what your culture's like, what your mission is, if you're not communicating that and then they don't come on board, then you go, well, nobody really wants to work. Right. Well, is that really the case, or did you really just not have those critical things in place to be able to communicate that to the potential employee? Or maybe you have all those things and then they come on board, but you have them watch a video and then they go out with the trainer and then that's it. And then they get frustrated because they're getting complaints, but you haven't done quality checks and you haven't given them the proper training, and you haven't given them some type of reference material to reference back while they're still training and learning. So it's really just asking a lot of questions and understanding where those inefficiencies are.
When I was in the corporate world, I remember our business was just all quality, all safety. It didn't matter what the heck we were selling. Like, everything was all about that. And our QA department had what they called the 5 whys. And so anytime there was an issue, they had to ask why 5 times. So to what you were talking about, like peeling back the onion, that was their mechanism to peel back the onion. It was like, well, this went wrong. Well, why did that go wrong? Because of this piece of equipment. Well, why is it that we use that piece of equipment? Well, it's because we use that piece of equipment because the other one was on back order. Well, why don't we have a safety stock? Well, we don't have a safety stock because of this. Okay, like, do we change the policy, or do we, do this? But it was like you had to you had to at least ask why 5 times, and that would usually get you back far enough to figure out what the root cause was of the actual problem, not just this thing failed. Like, that cleaner's not doing a good job. Why? Well, because they get a complaint on the kitchen every time. Why? Well, because the person that trained him gets complaints on the kitchen. Like, oh, why? Oh, because they never got trained, because the person that trained them doesn't work here anymore. Oh, why? Oh, because they didn't do kitchen. All right, we got to fix the kitchen training.
Right. I love that. I love that. The 5 whys. Why? And that's what I'm really good at. I don't even
know. I think we're born with it, because my 4-year-old knows it, and I never knows to do that in a different sort of way, not as like a intentional, strategic sort of way. She's just born.
Well, once they get past, once your 4-year-old gets past the 5 whys and they get into their teenage years, then it's going to be that they're master debaters.
It's 0 whys, and it's let me tell you why.
Exactly, and you're never right, and you don't know anything. So, but that, and that's another thing about the whys, right? Is as a leader, and as and somebody who wants, for me, I want to grow my business. It goes back to being very humble, because a lot of times those whys lead back to me and a decision that I made about something. So if you're not open enough to say to yourself, why, right? Why? And what do I need to change, or what needs to change with my company, or what decisions did I make? And it's not that it's always about the leadership, but a lot of times it is, it's about,
like, anything that you don't like within your business is your fault.
Right. It's not always about the leadership. And sometimes you just have a bad, you just don't have a good employee. But it is very easy for a business owner, because I interact not just on CBF, but I interact with a lot of different business owners. And it is very easy for a business owner to place blame on employees, right? Well, they didn't do this and they didn't do that. Okay, well, my employees, not showing up on time, and they're a great employee and they've been late, the last 3 weeks. Well, you're telling me they're a great employee. What processes did you have in place? So, sometimes you do have, I always say, one of my sayings is this: I can always, and really, I can always make someone a great cleaner through our training process and through the CBF system, because it's tried and true and it works. But I cannot make someone a good employee.
Hey, what's up, business nerd? Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you learned a heck of a lot watching that episode. Do me a favor, subscribe right down here. And if you really like what you saw, you got more goods right here. Check out this one, or check out this one, and do this. Go subscribe. Appreciate you. Work smarter, work harder, go earn yourself some pride. Catch you on the next one.